I just love painting. What can I say? Welcome, everybody, to Paint with Steve on Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live at the Steve Tracy Gallery. Well, folks, today we are going to paint a barn scene. It would be called, I would call it a landscape, architectural landscape. Here is the barn. Can you believe it? I was there this morning at my friend's farmhouse, Margaret, and she's an artist, and she owns this property. And this barn was built in 1916. Uh, that was when the Spanish flu broke out. And here we are with the COVID going on. So that was over 100 years ago. And I knew that she had this barn. And so I drove by and took a picture of it this morning. And lo and behold, this barn's going to be torn down in about a week or so. So this just gives me so much fuel and passion to want to preserve this in a painting. It's a lot of information, folks. So I do confess that I might have bitten a little more than I'm used to being able to handle within this 1 hour time frame, but I'm going to do my best. Looking at this painting, I would say that the shapes of value are the smallest shape would be a light shape. The next size shape would be mid-tone, and the largest would be dark. So I'm going to start with my darks, and I've already painted on a orange background. They call that a ground, and I really enjoyed working with the oil paints last week. So I am painting with oil paints again this week. My palette is limited. Here's my palette. It's grays and greens, a little warmth over here, and a little blue. But basically, it's my Gorshner grays. You can Google up Ted Gorshner. He's an artist from Australia, and he is an art instructor, and he teaches to use these grays, the Gorshner grays, which are a great value and a great color for barnwood, and they're great tints for all the primary colors. First off, I think what I'll do, rather than start with my darks, I'm going to do my sky in the background. So I'm just going to paint my sky in the background really quick here. And I got 3 shades of blue. This is my lighter blue. And just using this, this is my darker blue, I'm sorry. My darker blue. And keeping my brush moving, that's always a good thing. Now this is a flat. This is a number 10 flat. Now, I was trained to use a lot of filberts, but the flat brush is very good for structure. And also it's very good for putting on skies. I can come back in with my filberts if I have any sharp edges and knock them down. As you see, I already did a drawing. I don't know if that's called cheating, but I wanted to save time. So you can reference this on my Facebook page. It will be posted on Facebook. So you can reference this over and over to get the images, get the reference, and to go at your own pace. So please share this with your friends that like to paint. And okay, so that's basically my darkest light blue. And this is a tree over here. Gonna let that show through. And so just trying to, the whole idea about painting is for me, especially this kind of painting, is to work quickly and to have fun. And when I start slowing down, um, I start thinking too much, and it seems like fear creeps in. So just keep that brush moving. I pre-mixed my paints, so I'm not going to have to stop and mix the paints that I need. And and that's a good thing, so that when you do start painting, that's all you need to concentrate on is painting. I do not like to mix paints halfway through a painting's development. So taking that blue down towards the horizon line, taking some blue here behind that tree. I'll be putting in other blues on here. Maybe I'll do it right now. So I'm going to do that right now. This is a lighter blue. Okay, just giving it some different information here. Bring and leaving the top where it's the darkest. These trees are budding. By the way, what a beautiful day it is here in southwestern Ontario. I wanted to say hello to all of our friends all over from coast to coast in the United States and Europe and the West Coast. You must be having a really nice spring right now. Yeah, so today's a really beautiful day here in Ontario. And I'm just dappling those brushstrokes to give that sky just different information of blue. That's what I call multiple colors, is information. So it's just giving it different information of blue. And taking the lightest blue, and I'm going to bring that down just close to where the sky kisses the surface of the earth. And this is where there's more particulate matter, smog, dust, farm dust. And the nice thing about old barns is that they're not perfect geometry. And they're already kind of broken up. So that gives the design a great aesthetic when it's not perfect geometry. Okay, so that's pretty good. I like that. Since I went ahead and painted my white, this would be considered, in my opinion, a darker white shape. I'm going to go ahead and indicate my white shape in the foreground. So I'm taking my lighter grays and I am going to paint some of these planks. This is where the sun is hitting them. I need to probably switch brushes. So I'm going to switch brushes. I'm switching to a number 6 bright. This is definitely more of the width of the... So this is where the sun is just beginning to come over this tree, hitting the edges of these old over 100-year-old barnwood planks. And I'm going to be letting some of that orange coming through. That orange is just a nice warmth that I like. So these are all part of the white shape, what I call the white shape design. And okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish painting these. I save myself a little bit of headache drawing it in, because sometimes the drawing takes a little more time than anticipated. Okay, so there is the main parts of the white shape on the barn, and then we have some here. It's coming in kind of dappled because of the tree. Okay, so, and then we have, it goes to this door. Those are the little posts and the framing posts coming through, where it looks like some of that barn wood already fell off, or might have been recycled. A lot of craftspeople like to use old barn wood for crafts projects. And okay, so just bringing in some of these white shapes here. And this direction is the direction of the shadow. The light's coming down here from the sun. Okay, and let's go ahead and put some of this white on the very edge of the roof line there. And also, this is a light green, but this is part of my white shape. I'm just going to indicate it as a design. And it's part of the sun hitting the grass, coming over here on an angle. And that's, so all of this is my white shape design. Do you see how it's kind of just looking like a single design, just that light value. Nice abstract. The randomness of the decrepit barn provides good design, where it is avoiding, good order. I think better design avoids geometry, unless you're painting something that is particularly geometric. Okay, so now I think that I'm going to just bring some of this green down a little bit. This is the grass that is about 2 feet, real lush. While I was walking up to this barn, I saw a nice big rabbit, and he looked like he was pretty well fed. He actually also looked like I was intruding into his property, and I was. So let's do just one more piece of grass here. Just a good design, just to break up a smaller shape there. Okay, now I'm going to take that light green and right in here, where you can see through the barn, you can see the sun hitting the light, the green grass behind the barn. Okay, so now we got our white shape in. Now I want to put my dark shape in. So I'm going to take my same number 6 bright brush. It seems like it's a good brush for this. The other one was nice and big. Okay, so here we're just going to draw in or paint in. And painting is much like drawing with a brush. So some people don't draw out their what they're going to paint, and especially if you're painting very quickly in plein air, you could just draw it out in with the paintbrush and save yourself a whole step. That's if you have practiced drawing and you have pretty good drawing skills. So yeah, so the neat thing about, I like barns that are old and decrepit because these are the spaces in between the slats. And because barns remind me, well, they tell a story. They tell a story of life, of struggle. They also kind of tell a story of mortality, and that life isn't, life is always dying. So we live and we die. So it tells a story about our mortality, which to some people is scary, but to others it's more reality. Okay, so don't want to get too heavy there with that topic, but okay, so we're going to take this dark shape. And I have to remember that this is what I would call an alla prima painting, a painting painted within just the moments of a day. And so painting in the darks. So that's what I'm doing here. Just keep on painting them in. Like I said, keep your brush moving. That's what's nice about having the drawing. You can paint quicker. You're not having to think what shape it is. You already got the shape down. Okay. So I guess wood shrinks. And so these spaces in between the wood are where the wood shrunk. Okay. Now, I know this part here is the work part. And when you're painting, when I'm painting, I am not continuously talking. So there are times when, if you feel that I am not talking too much or telling you too much information, it's because I am just concentrating on getting all of these multiple shapes in the same value in, and that takes up a lot of brain space. Okay. And there's different things hanging from the building. Okay, I'm looking at my dark shape design. This whole eave below that is in shadow. Okay, and there's a lot of wood that has been added on that's a little bit newer, so it's more gray, and the older wood, it goes darker. Okay, so just working faster. I want to work faster for two reasons: to get this done, and it's going to look better. It's going to have a fresher look. if I just continue to keep my brush moving, going in between these 2x4s that are the trim that hold up the wall. And those give good, good design. Okay, so we're just going in there. Here's a dark shape. This is the inside of the barn. That's where the, go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and make all of this dark. That's the inside of the barn. Okay, this is all dark. I like that. I like what's going on with this already. So it looks like they put a couple of sheets of tin on the roof to keep it from leaking. Do you think this building leaks? I think that at one time it did not leak. And so I don't even know what that is, but it could be just a board coming up, but it adds good design. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in some darker images here. Yeah, so one brush stroke can be a lot of different things at once. Could be rendering several things at once. Could be doing 2 planks instead of 1. Okay, just looking again where I'm at. A drawing is kind of like a map. It tells you where you need to go with the brush. And remember when we were kids, they always said paint within the lines, right? Well, that's what that is. There are lines that you paint within. And so I like what's going on. Okay. There's going to be more darks in here, but that's getting pretty close to, and it's getting pretty close to what I would consider a rendering. And a rendering is just an impression of what you're seeing. It's a rendering. It's not an illustration. It's a simple statement of what you're seeing. And an illustration is more of a documentation, a true documentation of what it is that is recorded. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in some of these darker trees. Now I will be putting in leaves. And the nice thing about the background color is I do like it, how it comes through. Okay, so this is a dark shape. This is the shadow of the foliage as it touches the ground. And this is about 9:30 in the morning. And I have a darker green here. This is all dark grass in the shadow. This is sap green. Sap green, you can buy it right from the art store. It's already mixed. It's a nice warm green, and it's a good color of leaves and shadow. Okay, so just continuing to paint what I call all my acreage. My acreage is the live area, and the live area is basically the size of your canvas. So that's the area that has to be painted. So I'm just laying in designated values within the size of my canvas. And since I did the drawing, I kind of know in general where those shapes start and ending. Okay. Going to take some of this other green, it's a little bit lighter green. Okay, I'm going to wait until I get my filberts brush for that, because this is giving me too much of a chisel edge. And this brush is best used for the building. So let me go ahead and I'll retouch the green grass and the trees later. But let me go ahead and retouch. This is a lighter brown. So what I was using was a brown and purple for my darkest color. To you, it probably looks black. But so I just moved up the scale one notch, and this is now a brown. And I'm just restating again, or not restating, I'm just continuing to state my dark shapes with this brown color. And we're going to have more brown here. Now, I want to use that brown to render the shadow of the trees coming through up in here. So that's casting a shadow on the edge of the barn. It's important to record that phenomenon, and it will give the painting depth and a sense of direction and gravity. Okay, coming in here with the brown, going in that same direction as the shadow. And continuing with that brown color, and okay, this is more brown here. Okay, so what I just did there is just, I'm breaking up that line so it's not so perfect, and it slows it down. Those little notches will slow down. It slows down the viewer's eye so that as they're looking at your painting, they slow down. And if you can get the viewer to slow down, then they will look at your painting longer. And if you can get them to look at your painting longer, I call it, you want them to linger longer. You know, that's a tongue twister, but that's why I like the word. But you get them to linger longer, they are going to, the painting is going to be more interesting the longer they look at it. Or as I like to say, the longer they linger. Okay, so there's all kinds of little weather streaks in the barn wood where it's splitting, it's decaying, but I've got my main white shape in this area. Okay, so let me go ahead and fill in this with midtone. And I got my fantastic grays. Okay, so these are nice grays. Just going to render them, render this. This is like a plywood plank. I have no idea what it means, but it's just there. And to me, all it is a shape, which I love. And it also kind of talks about, you know, where they try to fix it up. This is definitely a fixer-upper. So, yeah, so I'm just using this gray paint to, and right over the brown. And now I'm getting those streaks, which look like barnwood. And that's because it's wet on wet, which is great. And so let's go ahead. Now I'm not looking at my reference too much right now. I'm just kind of filling in, not feeling in, the leftover spaces. Because the eye will complete the intention if you have good integrity with your drawing. So the eye will convey the information here that this is a building that's getting ready to meet its maker, the earth. Okay, so I like how that paint creates the streaking of barnwood, wet on wet. Now, this is a pallet, some sort of a pallet that they leaned against the building, and keeping that random. Now that pallet is, for some reason, it's a little green. It could have been the way that the wood was cured. But you look at it already, how this whole structure, to me, it looks very inviting. I don't know why these buildings, when I was a kid, I would see a building like this and I just wanted to go and explore. You would find things in there. You're going to find things that are over 100 years old. You're going to find things from 50 years ago, from different, it's like a time capsule. And you'll find something that was used and then discarded with some of the content still in it. And that just tells such a story. And to me, in a way, it's kind of like a book. When you look at these old buildings, they're talking to you. And they're telling stories. They're telling stories about how it was built, who went inside, what it was used for, how it was, you know, reused for something else. And so this is kind of a lavender color. It's just another kind of gray. Wow, I am really, really liking this. Okay, I'm going to paint. This is a light green. This is where there's a hole in that back wall. And I'm just placing that window that shows the green behind there. And also, there's little cracks in here that are showing through the the holiness of the building. This is a holy building. I just wanted to say that. Okay, so let's see here. I got more grays, got some nice purple here. Okay, that's going to go under the eaves. Okay, so we got some of this color here. Wow. Yeah. So buildings like this, they, they're not haunted, but they have a certain, I would say probably a story of times gone by. Something that was once precious is no longer precious. And the sad thing is that this building is going to be taken down because all of a sudden I'm falling in love with this building. And I'm so tempted to ask the owner, my friend Margaret, to come back and paint this again before it goes. Because to me, this just is, this could be the cover of a book of any type of topic, right? Love story, a murder, a mystery, redemption. Excuse me. Well, I'm really, 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 really liking that. Okay, so I'm taking some of my blue-gray, and I'm just going to touch these planks with some of that blue-gray. And why is that? And that's because that blue-gray, where's that blue-gray coming from? It's coming from the sky that's reflecting onto this building. So what the Impressionists discovered when they painted outdoors was that everything reflected what was next to it. And so that is the blue sky reflecting into this whole plane right here. It's coming down, reflecting onto that. This here, that's reflecting the sun coming down onto the gray planks. Okay, just looking at that, just want to restate my dark. Now you can see this, I just love it. You can see that this isn't a perfect representation of the building. And I could come back in here and just have a blast tweaking it with little pieces of color. Here's a little brown, and it's in the sun, so that's okay. I'm gonna put some of that brown on the roof there. Okay, here is the pallet. That's the edges of the pallet being hit from the light coming this way. And I want to restate some of this white here. Some of this white shape, or where the sun's hitting these planks right in here. So I'm just kind of restating them. Okay, and I'm just about ready to go and touch up my green. But I still want to play with the building. Yeah, so all of a sudden, as I'm painting this, I'm discovering things. I really like this section. I like these sections here of these all these rectangles that are uneven. Okay, so, as, I'm laying this in, I'm thinking, well, first of all, I want this to be generally presentable by the time that I'm done with this segment, which will be in about 10 minutes. This one might go a little bit longer. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to take my filbert. This is my favorite landscape brush. This is a number 6 filbert. Okay, see, it can go thin and it can go fat. So this is great for organic shapes. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my dark green, and I'm just going to make grass shapes. Grass clumps. One brush stroke is 1,000 blades of grass. And so as I'm doing that, I want to make sure that I don't make it look even. So some are going to be big and fat. I'm going to come back down in here. Bring up some of this grass in here. There's a tree that comes up in there. And so I can get a nice thin excuse me. I have a little bit of hay fever, which gives me that cough, so it's not anything to worry about, thank God. Okay, I think I'm going to do a few more branches, thin branches. That kind of changes the direction a little bit when you do those little curvy branches, and also slows down the viewer. Okay, so going back over here, those are just clusters of leaves. And now going back into the grass. Okay. Kind of somewhat vertical strokes. Okay, I have a little, I want to restate this dark shape right in here. Oh, there's one thing I want to put in here. And that is 55-gallon drum. It's all rusted, but it's right there. See how fast that was? Okay, so Going back in here to the bushes. Just really unloading the brush with a lot of paint. I probably will come in with my palette knife on the trees to give it the little leafy look. I want to break up these shapes here a little bit, just to break them up. They look a little bit too perfect. Okay. Well, the other thing about old buildings is it reminds me of old people. You know, it's aged, it's got wrinkles, kind of like me. That's why I'm not going to let you see me in the camera. My vanity prevents me. No, it's just hard to move the camera around and then move it back. So, okay, so let's bring in the filters again. I'm going to go with the lighter greens. My focal point is going to be right here. So I want that to be the brightest green. And these are tufts of grass. I'm just pulling it up and then lifting it away from the darker green to give it that feathery look. Okay, let's do something here. This is what the rabbit likes to go into. All of this. This is his cover. Okay, and now, like I said, the focal point is going to be right around in here. So I have a real bright green. I'm going to use for right in here. And that's going to bring a little attention to that. Okay, I'm going to take some of this darker green. Okay, now I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to cut in some white shapes along the roof line. Just along that tin. And having so much fun with that palette knife, I'm going to cut in a few more. just to give it that splintery look. Got some cat hair on my palette knife. Some of you probably know what that's like, huh? Oh. Yeah, we're almost done. You can see I'm having, like I said, I might have bitten out a little bit more than usual, but I always do that. There's my drum. Okay, so now we're going to take this palette knife with the green, and we're going to bring in just some little tufts of grass. Oop, how about that? That grass is growing before our very eyes. There you go. Okay, now let's go into the tree. Get that tree laid in. So this is the darker green. It's kind of a light touch, right? And as it is touching the blue sky, it's getting a little bit lighter. We'll connect to the roof line. Wow, I'm really liking this. I'm sorry. I guess is it okay if I like it? Okay, and then let's see what else can I do to have fun. I just love painting. What can I say? You know, doing something like this, doing it quick. Look how loose it is. Look how you know I'm having fun. So there's no doubt about that. And it is satisfying. It is satisfying. Definitely satisfying. Since I'm having so much fun with that palette knife, I'm going to just touch a few of these. Okay, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're ready to move in. Doesn't that look, all it needs is some curtains and a little potted plant. I really, really love it. It's what amazes me is that we can do this kind of thing. All it is paint on a canvas. That's all it is. And to me, it becomes it's like a fantasy. It's like now this is a whole place where I can go and where the viewer can go and where the viewer will go when this thing hangs. Oops. In someone's house. We are going to sell these, by the way, for charity. So 100% of the proceeds go to charity. So I'm taking that green color, mixing it with my brown, just going to bring in some darks in here. Maybe one or two little twigs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, voila. Here you have a beautiful summer home. Definitely, it has everything you need in a vacation resort. It's got a roof over your head. It's got a view. Got a lovely garden. I'm moving in today. Well, God bless everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you for coming on board with Paint with Steve. And please post your pictures on our Facebook page. And please tell your friends to watch us next week, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Steve Tracy Gallery on Facebook. Bye, everyone.